Well, a couple of stocks under pressure. So Hero MotoCorp is down around 1.5% at this point. We do have the auto sales which are coming out tomorrow for the month of Feb, so that'll be interesting to track. But separately, even Bajaj Auto, which is down around 1.2%, and a couple of these other rate sensitive, something like an Axis Bank, is down around 1.3% at this point in time. But we have Manisha Gupta joining in to discuss oil prices as crude prices are back at around $66 per barrel. Manisha?
Oh, well, yes, Ekta, it didn't last too long, the bearishness in the crude oil prices, and we saw the next day actually erase all of those losses, gaining 2.5% up. It's flat right now, it's slightly negative as well, and this is in reaction to the US production at 12.1 million barrels per day now, which is a new record on a week-on-week basis and highest ever really. So that is what has led to some profit taking. But you know, there's so much happening in the global markets. It's the China manufacturing PMI data, the lowest in 3 years. It also is a second straight day of talk of nuclear talk between US and North Korea, and the US and China trade talks also have seemed to hit a bit of a roadblock, and that is what the markets really are digesting at this point in time. Joining us to talk more about that and the crude prices itself is Peter McQuire. Peter, hi, thank you so much for taking time. What is your sense, first of all, from the global cues, whether it is about the US and China trade talk or the Chinese data that continues to be on the weaker side, or the Saudi Arabia affirming commitment to continue to cut output despite that US president's tweet? How have you read into this whole host of events?
Well, good morning, Manisha. I think there are so many different moving components of it. Naturally, we've got the president and what's happening with the China situation. Earlier in the week, I think everyone was quite excited that there was going to be some form of deal. That was the general feel to the market, and there was a sense of positiveness, and that really took the market on an uptick Monday, Tuesday, and a little bit of Wednesday. Now the winds come out of the sails quite simply because they're now saying that, you know, it could be quite a while till we get to a table to actually sign some papers. Everyone's got a different view as far as where China is in America. Then we're talking as far as what happens as far as those weak Chinese numbers, and I think that was a little bit of a surprise. We understood how weak it was, but this was really a wake-up call. And naturally also, as you mentioned, you know, the US crude at record levels as far as production, 12.1 million barrels a day, which is just, you know, incredible. So the markets are taking a bit of a reaction to that. There's been a bit of a sell-off on crude over in the last, 6 or 8 hours, but I think it's just taking a little bit of breath, and there'll be upside from here.
Sure. So as we inch closer to 67 yet again for the Brent prices, what is your sense? Are we looking at further highs here, or is the US production, that one number, enough to keep the prices in check?
I think, well, I feel as though, yes, they probably will keep it in check, but I feel as though also the other side, there's upward momentum. And it's been a bull market really since the 26th, 27th of December from those incredible lows that we experienced. And that turnaround has been nothing short of dramatic. So you've only got to put your mind back that we were at that $50 level for Brent. It's now at 66, all in the space of just over 2 months, Manisha. And I think it's got momentum. If you look at it at a chart, you look at the big global cues, I think it's got the capacity to take a 70 out sometime in March. I won't be surprised at all to the upside, and I feel as though that there's momentum there to push it higher.
All right, $70 in the month of March itself is expected for Brent. But Peter, also, how are you looking at the Saudi Arabia statements? I mean, they're affirming commitment to continue to cut output, totally shrugging off the US president's tweet. What is your sense on how much will the OPEC and the allies be able to continue to make a dent here in the supplies going forward?
Well, I think it's two-pronged, Manisha, and as simple as this. That while the president, that is Trump, heralds from, the lofty towers to say that OPEC can't do this and OPEC can't do that, he doesn't mind saying, well, we're now at 12.1 million barrels a day as far as production. We're the largest in the world, and there's more production coming online each and every month moving forward. So there's the first part, and it's now a race to see who's going to be the largest. Next part is we've got that meeting on the 18th of March in Baku, Azerbaijan. I'm attending that. And it's going to be fascinating. Where does Russia sit with it? What happens as far as that JMMC? And, of course, the Saudis. Now, if the Saudis are prepared to cut production over this, we've got the Baku meeting on the 18th, and then on the 17th of April, we've got the OPEC meeting in Vienna. So there's a lot of moving parts in the next 6 weeks, and I think that the Saudis will win. That's why I think the prices will edge higher from here.
Well, that point is well taken, Peter. Thank you so much for joining us. So clearly, 18th March and then 17th April are two important dates when it comes to the crude oil prices taking cues.
Okay, all right, Manisha. Thanks very much for that. Well, holding steady for the market, so no real incremental issues coming in there. 10,827 currently for the Nifty, and we're up around 40 odd points for the mid-cap index as well. Remember that yesterday the mid-cap index managed to outperform, so it's managing to continue that marginal or steady gain into today's trade with a positive advance decline ratio.